Welcome, and thank you all for being here today. Let us begin with prayer together. God, as we understand you, help us to take this moment to settle in together. Help us to be still and to connect to Dave's essence. We come here today with grateful hearts for having known Dave and heavy hearts for the loss of him. We ask for the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, including this moment of loss. We ask for the courage to face what is in front of us today, our grief, our memories, and our love. And we ask for the wisdom to recognize the beauty in a life that was lived fully and with grit and with perseverance. Let us honor a man who walked a difficult road of struggle and seeking, and ultimately of recovery and of contribution. Remind us that none of us are beyond redemption, that each day offers a new beginning, and that the strength to change often comes with one step, with one breath, and with one honest moment at a time. We pray this in your name. Amen. Well, good afternoon all. My name is Johnny Graff, and it is my honor to stand in front of you today. Today is an important day in Ellensburg. We are here to celebrate the life of David White Dillard. Dave was born on a Wednesday, August 2nd, 1966, and he passed away on a Monday, March 16th, 2026, after a brief illness and subsequent hospitalization. In between that first Wednesday and that last Monday, there was a life that mattered deeply to each of you. Dave mattered to you, and he in part shaped your life, and he will continue to shape your life until all of your days are gone. Even in his physical absence, Dave's spirit lives within this space and within each of you. And so we are doing sacred work here. Since time immemorial, human beings have gathered in moments like this to take pause and to remember and to lay our loved ones to rest. Across every culture and across every land, every generation, we have carried burial rituals forward, and so we will today. Today we're going to do our very best to honor Dave's life and give our grief a little bit of space to breathe. And while that grief and our breath that carries it can feel heavy, there's a deep truth moving through us. An honesty about life that stops us in our tracks and widens our experience. Because grief is love. More specifically, grief is love with nowhere to go. Grief interrupts our daily routines. It puts a monkey wrench in our plans. It requires us to stop and to seek understanding. Grief sits in the conversations that we still want to have with Dave. We notice it in the laughter that we long to hear again. Grief visits through Dave's presence that we pray to feel just one more time. That grief that you feel in so many ways, the love that you still hold for Dave, instead of being expressed outward, now it turns inward. That's why it feels so uncomfortable. It settles in your chest, it catches in your throat, it wells up behind your eyelids, and it spills out in your tears, and then you weep. It comes out in your trembles, and you hear it in the silence when you least expect it. And that grief is not to be pushed away. Grief is much older than us. It is a timeless practice. We will not avoid it, nor will we outsmart it no matter how hard we try. So today, as we stand in this ancient and human ceremony, let it come out. Let us honor it. Let us honor our love for Dave. Because this grief is our connection to Dave. It speaks to connection and relationship, and to the undeniable truth that this life, that Dave's life, mattered deeply to you. It's because he was real. He was a real man. And he showed up for you in unique and meaningful ways, and in fact, we'll hear more about that later on in the service, how he showed up for other people. He was resilient, continuing forward even when the road was difficult. He was determined, choosing again and again and again and again to keep going no matter what. He was so very lovable in part because he loved humans so much, and cats. And cats. They say that love is a boomerang. What you put out comes right back to you. Dave put a lot of love out there, especially once he found his flashlight in the dark. He waved it everywhere. And he said, "Follow me. I know the way." I'm not sure how many people he helped out of the darkness, but I know that he did his best, and that's all we can ever ask of a human being, isn't it? He understood the struggle, and he put that understanding to care for others. That's remarkable. Who knows how far David's ripple will go? I can promise you that it will extend beyond today, and most likely beyond all of our lifetimes. And that's a legacy that you can all tell stories about. You can say, "I knew a man." Music has a way of allowing our emotions to be felt and to move forward. And that is our goal for this portion of the service. We want you to be able to feel your emotions and allow them to come. I spoke to a gentleman yesterday, and he said, "I haven't grieved yet. I haven't cried yet." I said, "If I've done my part, you will tomorrow." So if you feel like that's something that is on its way, let it come through. It's healthy for you. Because you're surrounded by others that are doing the same work of honoring Dave while grappling with this gripping version of love, this thing called grief. We're about to play a song for you. While this song plays, allow yourself to reflect on Dave's life and what he meant to you. Let those emotions come out. Lean into the person next to you. It's okay. Look around. Everybody here is here for the same reason. To pay respects, to honor Dave's life, and to grieve together. So lean in to those people next to you. Allow yourself to become a part of this little community that we become in this little chapel today. It was just built for us. It's for us today. That's why it's here. This is a song titled, "You're Going to Be Okay." This is by Brian and Jen Johnston.
Just to keep it together. Stay
Dave's sisters, Jan and Cindy, put that song out. It's as if they knew what Dave would want to say to us. There's a lyric it went like this, it went, I know your heart is heavy, but just remember that you were a fighter. You never know what tomorrow holds, and you're stronger than you know. Just put one foot in front of the other. Sounds an awful lot like Dave, what I've learned about him. The sage advice that can move us all through life's challenges, and especially today's challenge of grieving a loved one loss. Jan and Cindy have devoted themselves to this service and have spoken to me multiple times in preparation of this service. And in addition to picking the music, they also told me grand stories about Dave. And they also helped to put together a slideshow that chronicles Dave's earthly journey. I know that others contributed also to this slideshow, and thank you all that did. It's said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So with that, let's sit back and enjoy a retelling of Dave's life through these images. very smile. And what a life he led. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the slideshow. Obviously, Dave was well loved. I think every picture had somebody else in it with him. Lots of cats. He tossed his boomerang into the world with an absolute certainty that it was going to come back to him. And it certainly did. Paid off in many ways for him. He made a lot of really dear friendships over his life. All y'all. Today we have 4 of Dave's very closest friends that are going to share some remarks. Others that would have liked to as well, but weren't able to. They're going to share some prepared remarks about his life. So this time I'm going to invite his friend John to the front of the room, and he's going to share his remarks about Dave.
Johnny number 2, you can call me. Good afternoon, everybody. It's strange and nice to be here at a time like this to share memories with good friends of Dave. Having a hard time getting my papers. Stand still. I got you. So what do you say about a guy like Dave at a time like this in 2 to 4 minutes? And where do you start? I've been struggling with that, putting it out of my mind because I just didn't want to think about Dave's passing. You know, it's not a place I wanted to go, and so I didn't. But a few days ago, I was sitting out on my back deck in Anacortes, and the sun had finally popped out after seemed like a week or 2 or a whole winter's worth of rain and wind and cold. And it was just lovely, you know, and I sat there and I noticed that the birds were super active and chirping, and Dave entered my mind. I thought about Dave, and I didn't see that represented in the slideshow, but Dave loved birds too. He loved birds and he could identify them all. I had plans to go on a hawk hunt with him. On my next one, I got to go, my son Billy and a friend of his, and Dave was able to identify this bird as a Harris hawk. I've never heard of a Harris hawk. They're not native from here, but Dave, after seeing a picture within about 10 seconds, sent me back saying, "Oh, awesome, a Harris hawk." And at that time, I was sitting there in the sun and enjoying myself and beginning to think a little bit about Dave. I'd noticed that my cat had nuzzled up next to me and was enjoying the sun with me and maybe even my company. And I remembered Dave again, how much he loved cats. I come to cats late in my life. I've been a dog man and proud of it most of my life, but I do love my cat too. Dave and I used to share pictures of cats, and along with usually a picture of the character Bubbles from the show Trailer Park Boys, if you know it, and the line about just how attractive that darn cat was. And they know the line. And Dave loved gardens too, overlooking my backyard. My partner Sarah she's a master gardener and has just covered our property, our corner lot with beautiful gardens. And Dave loved flowers. You may not know that either. Dave loved flowers and plants. Whenever he'd come over, he would always take the tour with Sarah around the yard to see what was blooming and just enjoy what was happening out in the garden. I missed that. I like plants as much as the next guy, but not as much as Dave, I'll say that. And Dave, as you might suspect from the picture show we just saw, he wasn't there really for the flowers. He was there for the fish. He enjoyed fishing as much as I do. He loved every bit of it, from just thinking about it, preparing to be there, looking at the tides and checking out the winds and finding out what everybody's doing. He loved messing around with the gear. He loved rolling around on the water. He loved just being out there, enjoying the sounds and the smells and all of it. But don't get me wrong, Dave was there for a protein harvest. He was pretty serious about that part of it too. And we were usually fortunate to catch our share of crab and spot prawns and lingcod and salmon. Dave loved music. Dave loved the Seahawks. Dave loved ice cream. We used to swap texts a lot about what we were planning, what flavor we were planning to devour in short order. And Dave loved his God kids so very much. He bragged about them all the time. He used to see pictures, and he was always taking pictures and telling me who he was sending them to. I used to get holiday texts from Dave all the time. You know, it didn't matter what the holiday was. It was Halloween or Christmas or New Year's. I'd even get Father's Day texts from Dave. And I usually when I got it, I was always surprised. I thought, who does that? You know, I don't do that. But Dave's that kind of guy. He's kind and thoughtful that way. So yeah, Dave loved people too, and people loved Dave back. Dave loved me when I needed it most. Dave loved me when I didn't love myself very much. I am the guy, by the way, that couldn't agree with me. So here I am. Dave showed me God through his grace and dignity. He demonstrated it. And I know he showed others too. I trusted Dave so much, and he helped save my life. Damn it. I wasn't going to do this. Dave treated all people with dignity and respect and kindness. Straight up, he was just way better than average. You know. So I'm gonna miss Dave's kindness and his wisdom and his counsel and his good heart, his sense of humor, his easy smile, his laugh, all of that stuff. I know that all of you have these little things that that will remind you of Dave, you know, also going forward. And these are just a few of mine. So I think my 2 to 4 minutes is up. Thanks for doing that, and nice seeing you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, John. Steve. Where's Steve sitting?
I'm excited to run up.
Good to see everybody. It's a real testament to exactly who Dave was. It really is. My name's Steve, by the way, to anybody that hasn't met me. And it's kind of cool because I know about 80% of everybody that's in here. So I'm glad I wrote this down because I've changed it like 14 times on the drive over from the Avalon. I'm going right back to the original, just so everything's good. Okay. So I met Dave about 16 years ago through a mutual friend. This is a quick story. He was in a facility, and a friend, he needed to get out of that facility, but he had to do certain things to do that. And I was available that day. And I got to go over there and listen to part of his story. And our relationship started on that day. You know, I don't know how much has been brought up, but I know for a fact that he was not afraid to say that he was in recovery. Okay, and so am I, consequently. And we've been doing this recovery thing for about 16 years together. So I'll start reading now so I don't get lost up there, because it says, I can tell you that this part right here that I'm doing is simple. Very simple for me, but it's not easy. It's simple in the fact that Dave was my friend and brother in this thing that we call life. Simple because we knew each other very well, and because we were good when he passed, and that's a big deal. Simple because we were a lot alike in our thinking and our beliefs, and a lot different in some of our attitudes and solutions to these problems in life. He was slightly more tactful than I with most people. Okay. I'm not that way. He would pause and think first before speaking. I don't do that sometimes. The hard part is Dave was a good guy. It's just that simple. He loved his concerts and going out to eat with friends. Our little threesome with Tim, we used to have all the time. And foursome if anyone dared join us. And I'll finish that on the golf course. Okay, so you know. He didn't have children of his own, but he did. And I'd love to hear him talk about his kiddos in Spokane, his friends, and his kiddies had become family to him, something he thought he'd never have. He was able to mend relationships with family and friends after getting into recovery, something that was very important to him. He cleaned up some messes and paid back some money, not always gracefully. There was a little incident right at the beginning of recovery that he was in Kmart picking up some supplies for the house, and he came running out to me, and he's breathing really heavy, and he's like scared to death, and he goes, "She's in there." And I was like, "Who's she?" He goes, "Remember the one I talked to you about?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "She's in there right now." I said, "Well, say hi and clean it up." Like, "I can't, I was hiding." "Where did you get it?" "In the clothing rack. I hid in the clothing rack until she left." "Go back in there." And unfortunately, he didn't get to see her, but what it did is it set a precedent that whenever he had that opportunity again, he jumped on it every single time. At gas stations when he'd meet somebody or anything to clean up that mess. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. Clean up the mess that he did clean up the mess that could have sent him away for a long time, but he faced it. And a few years later was working with the judge and the courts that heard his case and had a great relationship with him. Pretty much always ready to help his friends, but let's get real. He had his quirky side and moments like the rest of us when things weren't going his way. Finally this, he is missed already. A lot of us are talking about preparing for the first golf game, the first big recovery events that we go to. I'm not gonna get the phone calls that start out, "I got one for you." That was code for somebody made me mad and we need to talk about it. The other one is, we had a little joke between us, like John, we would send pictures of, usually it was pretty girls golfing. And then the right behind it would be, "But never, never, ever, ever, never, ever for us." So, and that was a joke that, I'm gonna miss that. Being able to pass one of my medallions down to him is gonna be tough. And not being able to do it. I believe he has been received, not taken from us. He's sitting up there with a plate of salmon, a Dr. Pepper, and kitties as far as you can see, with old rock and roll playing in the background. It won't be the same without Dave, and I don't believe it's supposed to be. You can't fill the void that someone you love has left with other people or things, just memories. memories of the times that you had and the privilege of spending it with that person. So, I love you, brother.
Awesome, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. And Eddie, come on up.
Good afternoon, my name is Eddie.
Hey.
Good afternoon, family and friends. I'm really honored to have been asked to say a few words about my best friend Dave. I met Dave around the same time Steve did, about 2010. Dave showed me what true family really meant. He wasn't a part of my blood. He wasn't, but he was family in every way that mattered. He was like family to me and my children. Someone steady, someone safe, someone who I could trust around my daughters and grandchildren. He was my best friend, my buddy, and my partner in crime. I could tell him anything. There was trust there that he helped me learn, not just by word, but how he lived. He lived the truth, and he gently showed me how to do the same. When we spent time together outside the rooms, whether in conversation or in fellowship, there was always depth. Something real, something that stayed with you. His passing is a deep loss in my life, but I carry with me the gift of his friendship, the way he saw my heart, the way he cared for my children, and the way he showed up with sincerity and love. Because of Dave, I understand the true meaning of the word friendship, and more deeply, he will truly be missed. I love you, my brother, and we'll miss you. Until we meet again, this is not goodbye, but see you later. And I was gonna see who, his sister, one of his sisters. Okay, so in recovery, Dave always bought me this nice coin, and I always told him there was no fronts, and the only way he was gonna get a front if he left. He was coming up on 16 years. This is the coin he bought me 2 years ago, and I could have it.
Thank you, Eddie. Randy, come on up.
Sorry, guys. Definitely need to do that. It just felt right to have a walk up with us when we're done. This is my daughter Sage. She'd like to say a few things.
Oh boy, I wasn't like actually prepared for this. This was very last minute. Oh boy. Dave. Okay, how do you guys do this? He's definitely been a major person in my life. He's been around since I was very little. This guy was very kind. He was hilarious. He was overall just an amazing person. He was kind to everyone, from what I know. Really, I don't know what more to say than he truly was a great guy to be around. I can definitely bring up the beautiful friendship my mother and him had. To be honest, they showed me true friendship. They always hung out and brought me along. We'd always get like tacos and stuff, and delicious. And then my dad, Zoe, and Gavin came around. We became like this big group, and he was a part of the family basically. And I will forever appreciate the moments with him and him putting smiles to our faces with gifts and coming to see us. personally, the moments me and him shared with the constant videos of cat videos, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a teenager, so I was like, oh my gosh, how many cat videos? Like, he keeps sending me videos, and just like looking back, I wish I gave bigger reactions, and the way, man, he really loved cats. Like everyone has said it already, but oh my gosh, he just sent me random cat photos and videos, and just, yeah, and then also birds. Like me and him chatted about birds here and there, and yeah, he was a major person in my life and major person to my mother. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna sit down.
Thanks, Sage. Well, hello, my name is Brandy, and as everyone has already said today, we gathered to remember my best friend Dave, my person. Dave wasn't just someone in my life, he was family. He was that kind of friend everyone hopes to find, but few truly do. He was selfless in a way that felt rare. I practiced this too. He was always putting others before himself without ever asking for anything in return. If you needed him, he was there. No questions, no hesitations. That was just who he was. Most of the time, he knew to be there before even his loved ones knew they needed him. He was loyal to the core, the kind of loyalty that made you feel safe, understood, and never alone. And not only was he my best friend, but he was also the best middle brother to two amazing women. He was proud to be theirs and grateful for their unconditional love. His love for his family ran deep, and he always showed. He never shied away from discussing any family members or proudly shining on their accomplishments. If anyone ever asked him about his mom, he'd show this beautiful picture of her and claim that she was the coolest chick he'd ever known. His words exactly. Dave and I met long ago, a place early in the morning where I was nowhere near close to being awake, and he had already consumed a full pot of coffee. He was an early riser, and we often teased about his sleep schedule and the insanity behind it. Luckily for me, he became my alarm clock for many years. Our friendship kicked off when he got a new position at SSCW. I remember how nervous he was to move into someone else's office. That was just who he was, always thinking of others. About a week in, I told him to knock it off and accept it because he deserved the opportunity. The look on his face will forever be etched into my brain because of how priceless it was. He was so selfless that it never occurred to him to be happy for himself. Our relationship just grew from there on. We soaked in all the happy moments and we held each other up through the tough times. When his RV burned down years ago, he wouldn't leave for safety and I parked a mile away. I avoided the police and the fire trucks and snuck up on him through the field. I brought a pack of water and 2 Mr. Pibbs, and we watched the fire all night. We played music and made the most of it. No matter what, we were always there for each other. When I had all my medical issues over the years, Dave was always the first to research and discuss it with me. Dave and I could just listen to music and not do a thing all day and be perfectly content, even if it was in working hours. I could stand up here and tell you all about the wild shenanigans we often got into or the hours we spent on the phone together never having a dull conversation. I could recant all of the years, but then we'd be here forever. We had so many amazing times just being friends. There was never a topic that we could not discuss. To be honest, I'm super selfish and I'd rather just keep those memories to myself. Dave never had children of his own, but he definitely could have fooled me. He was an amazing godfather to my children. He loved them deeply and he loved them right back. Most people do not take the godfather status serious, or it's just something adults say to their buddies and etc. Dave took it very, very seriously. He had 3 children to be a role model to, and he never disappointed them. The sweet conversation we would have before he did anything with them were priceless. He was always checking with Brett and I on how to proceed with birthdays, gifts, holidays, and if the kids were struggling, he always had the best ideas to help. He had an act for cheering all 3 of them up. Sage was the first kiddo he got to watch grow from a wild girl to a teenager. She was just up here. Dave and her called often, texted and shared a million cat videos. And of course their love for music. He sent Sage to her first festival seating concert and insisted he was too old to stand and hang with the cool kids. She spent most of the concert getting video and then FaceTiming him before, during, and after. And Dave was so proud of her and often spoke of how much awe he was in from her growing so fast into this beautiful, smart, and responsible young lady. As godfather, he never stopped encouraging her art, love for animals, and all sports. Gavin was the first baby. Dave babysat and was adorably nervous. The super adorable, shaking nervous. But of course, he was a natural. As Gavin grew older, Dave taught him the squeeze hug. These two would squeeze their hugs so hard and compare their arm strength a lot. Like, way too much. It was their favorite. Dave went to a lot of Gavin's games. He loved watching him play football and baseball. He was Gavin's biggest fan. I love you, buddy. They loved throwing the ball and going to the park, building sandcastles and swimming off the ducks. This year they're gonna fish from the boat. These two also love to eat, and eat a lot they did. Lots and lots of snacks. They'd even get Grant in on the foodie time as well. And before you knew it, various different screamo metal bands and 80s hair metal would be playing throughout the house. Dave and Gavin were best buddies. Then there is Zoe, who no doubt was the apple of Dave's eye. He was the third person to hold her, and watching him and Grant both tearing up over that little bundle of joy was the most precious thing I'd ever seen in my life. Dave and Zoe together were a sight to see. She went to work with us for a while, and Dave got to learn all things baby. He even brought extra shirts to work because she spit up on him daily. He did not mind. He came over for dinner often just to feed her and get his snuggles in. Zoe used to cry with anyone but myself, her dad, and Dave. And he bragged years about it. I mean, she's only 6 and he still was bragging. But once we moved to Spokane, he FaceTimed all the kids often and came for visits monthly, if not more, during nice weather. Zoe and him were glued at the hip. She'd draw them pictures and mailed them, or she'd stack them up for their next visit. And when I say stack her art up, I mean literally in the corner, all for Dave. As she got older, she wrapped around her little finger. They played pet tech Barbies for hours. They talked in meows and cat talk 24/7. They watched cat videos nonstop. I see a theme going on here. Anything she wanted to do, he was there for it. I had countless videos of them pretending to be cats and crawling around in the rec room playing. Literally crawling around, guys. And he learned all her favorite songs, and they put on concerts for us. Honestly, these two were trouble and always up to something. Zoe made me send him thousands of videos and pictures of her just being herself. They were skilled in their selfie taking as well. He made it to all her holiday concerts, T-ball games, and was there for every milestone. There was no way he would miss anything that she ever did. To say that Dave was a proud godpa would be an understatement. He had kids' pictures posted all over his office, and he got an Instagram just to brag about them. Well, that and some really dark humor back and forth to me and Grant. There are so many memories to be shared with the kids and Dave. It is the biggest loss that I never could have imagined. Their favorite restaurant was Tomato Street. Anytime something big in their worlds happened, I had to immediately tell Godpa. The children insisted. He showed them what it means to care for others, to be present, and to be someone to count on. He showed them love and respect and encouraged every passion of theirs. They all loved each other very much. Dave fit into the family like a missing piece, and it did not just stop at the children and Grant. My siblings loved Dave. My 3 brothers and him grew closer over the years, and my sisters adored him. The boys all loved to golf and fish and would discuss, or really, they'd brag about their skills each season. All of these nephews of various ages greeted him with huge hugs and would give them updates on their lives. My parents, Rob and Chris, loved talking with him, and he always visited them when he came to town. They have their dog Bella because Dave rescued it. Gramps loved him too, and they both talk about anything. Candy, Grant's mom, also loved seeing Dave and sharing the grandkids with him, even though it was a fight. If I was on the phone ever, the family knew it was him. And then there were things that made Dave Dave. He was very skilled in most things construction. His love for cats and his ability to name and tell you any facts about birds, he could have wrote a book with his knowledge of these majestic winged animals. His passion for music, especially Van Halen, at his high school lip sync, he was none other than Eddie Van Halen. He didn't just listen to music, he felt it. He was very skilled on the guitar, and he can carry and sing a tune. He appreciated the classic Christmas music, like Perry Como, that was often played by his mother growing up. He was always open to listening to anything new in the musical world. He jammed in a few different bands throughout his life. The most recent band was called One Too Many. It was with some buddies in Yakima. He loved various different shows and movies. In fact, he was even in a movie. And of course, he loved Friends, which makes sense because at its heart, that show's about friendship, and no one understood friendship like Dave did. Chandler Bing, aka Matthew Perry, was his favorite character, and he identified a lot with the actor. So pick up Matt's book because he loved it, and it's a good read. His recent show was PD Live. Watch that religiously. And one of his favorite comedians was Anthony Jeselnik. Him and I use that dry humor a lot. I can still hear his voice telling me something is Jammin', or my personal favorite. God damn it, Brandy. Sorry, excuse my French. But that was my personal favorite. I can still hear his voice. When I would do something wild or stubborn, he would curse that at me. And it was like my favorite thing to do. Dave enjoyed fishing with friends and his godchildren. Grant and him took the boat out every season, and John and him also boated often. He taught me a few things about fishing, and he was quite knowledgeable. He loved the beaches, sunsets, and mountains. He loved plants, and we've been getting together and doing the gardening every year. Dave loved the Seahawks, as it should be. If we didn't watch the games together, he accepted my foul mouth through text, and we called after each game to discuss the outcome. As mentioned earlier, he loved food. His favorite dish was home cooked. He did not like toast, bread, cheese, or sour cream. He did not put cheese on his burgers. He loved enchiladas the most, and of course, ice cream. Any ice cream, and he would devour it. Dr. Pepper was his go-to soda pop, but ultimately is Mr. Pibb, and if you don't know the difference, then him and I would make fun of you for this. Sage and I made him a different lemon and blueberry dessert every year for his birthday, and no, he did not share, so I always had to make 2 batches. He loved family traditions, and we made a lot over the years. He was the reason we kept them going. Dave had a lot of monthly activities where he held the position of El Presidente for the Yakima Lotto Club. He was the most dependent person around. If he said he'd be there, he'd be there. I may have gotten a call where he complained the entire drive to the place, but he made his commitments. He would never let anyone down, ever. He held a professional position that allowed him to meet people in all different aspects of their lives, and he met them where they were at. Most were looking to receive a service and go back to their activities, but he had a way with people that attracted them to a new way to live. He was a wonderful sponsor and a helpful person within the community. He was known throughout Central Washington and was held in high regards. He helped so many men get their lives back on track, I do not believe I could count them all. Dave taught me what it was like to have someone in your corner no matter what. He was never cruel or mean. When I think about Dave, I won't just remember the big things. I'll remember the everyday moments, the laughs, the conversations, the times when nothing special was happening, but it meant everything because he was there. There's a space in my life that can't be filled, but I do know this. Everything he gave me and everything he gave all of us, his kindness, his loyalty, his love, that doesn't go away, it stays. And it stays in how we love, how we show up for each other, and how we carry him forward. So Dave, thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for being my person. I miss you. I always will, and I'll carry you with me every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and Steve, and Eddie, and Sage, and Brandy for your remarks. I know they mean a lot to the family to see Dave in a way that they don't know him. There are some lives that follow a straight line, steady path. And then there are lives like Dave's. Lives that move through darkness, that wrestle, that fall, that fight, and somewhere along the way, they find something real. They find that light that we talked about earlier. Dave's story, I don't think is described as simple at all. I think it's described as powerful. I think it's described that he didn't just experience the darkness, he came to understand it. And that understanding became compassion, it became connection, and a lifeline for other human beings. Many of you, I'm sure, are here in this room. Being a lifeline is not something you can fake. That's earned through real experience. In this way, Dave was resilient. He kept going when it would have been easier not to keep going. And that created a deep well of determination in him. There was something in Dave that refused to stay down. And as he grew and as he found his footing, he became a man who gave back. Service wasn't just something that he did, it was who he became. When you walk through the dark and you find your way into the light, you don't forget the people still trying to find their way. I had this wondering about Dave. I think it was confirmed through the 4 people that spoke. You saw the pictures of the slides of him fishing and hunting and being in nature. He grew up living and loving the outdoors, fishing and hunting. He loved being in nature. He was not fantasizing about being in a rock band, that is, and he eventually was, as Brandy mentioned, one too many. Dave was enjoying the outside. His sister Jan had fond memories of taking Dave to his favorite hunting and fishing spots. She would drop him off and just hang out and wait while he enjoyed the serenity of God's work. Because nature is real and honest. And I wonder if Dave's childhood taught Dave the basic elements that he would lean in on life later. I wonder if that's where Dave learned his patience. And I wonder if when he was in nature, if that's when Dave learned appreciation for the simplicity of life, even though his was complicated. I wonder if that's where Dave learned about his desire to self-express and live his life the way that he saw fit. I wonder if that's where Dave learned the importance of determination. And I wonder if that's where Dave learned his resilience all those years ago, waiting for something to bite on his line. I wonder if that's where Dave noticed that contribution, rooted in love, always pays itself forward and paves the way for others to come along. These are the teachings of Dave. Patience, appreciation for the simple things. Be yourself. Be determined. And never, never, never give up. What a special life that he lived, and what a story he wrote along his way. A pathway that we can all follow. Let us begin to close this ceremony with one last moment in prayer. Shall we? God, as we understand you, thank you for the life of Dave, for all that he was and for all that he became. We acknowledge that his journey was a rich experience. It was a journey of grit, determination, perseverance, and a little rock and roll along the way. Thank you for Dave's courage and for his service to humanity. And as we leave this place today, walk with us in the days ahead. For those who are hurting, bring comfort. For those who are struggling, bring strength. For those who are walking the path of recovery, bring clarity, honesty, and the willingness to take the next right step. Remind us that we are not alone, that healing happens in the presence of others, and that grace is available always to each of us. Help us to carry forth what is good, to speak kindly of one another, and to live with a little more honesty, a little more humility, and a little more love. We release Dave now with gratitude, trusting that his journey continues in peace, and we pray this in your name. Amen. Thank you all for coming today, and thank you to the Dillard family for allowing me the honor of walking them through this difficult time. Please remain seated while Henry and his team dismiss you from your seats, and this concludes today's service, and thank you all again for coming. Thank you.
So there won't be a formal dismissal today. We're going to open the doors that go out to the carport. It's shaded. It's nice to visit. You guys feel free to stay and visit as long as you'd like this afternoon. We don't have anything else going today, so just our funeral home here place. Take your time, visit, share memories. You can go do that under the carport, out on the front lawn, and here in the chapel, whatever works for you guys. So thank you all for being here.